we're looking at the circumference of a circle, which is the distance around the outside. So it's like the perimeter of a circle, the distance, if I put a starting point, all the way around here. Now to do this, we have to learn some parts of a circle. So this is the circumference all the way around the edge of a circle. This is the center of the circle. And if I get a ruler, the diameter is the distance all the way from one edge of the circle to the other through the middle. Or the length, if you prefer to think of it like that. The radius is from the center to the outside. And the radius is the diameter divided by 2. Because here's the diameter, radius is half of it, radius is the other half of it. So if you want to get the radius and you've got the diameter, you divide it by 2. If you've got the radius and you want the diameter, you times by 2. And the other part that we have to know is pi. Now pi has this symbol, which is the Greek letter pi, and it's equal to 3.1415926535897. It keeps going forever. We usually just say, well, it's approximately 3.14, and on your calculator there's a pi button, and when you push that, sometimes it'll just say, hey, it's pi, and if you use the double arrow key, it will say, there we go, 3.141592655, etc. Now we've discovered that pi turns up in all circles, and pi is the circumference divided by the diameter. We don't really need to know this to do our work, but that's where we got it from. If we measured every circle in the world and measured its circumference and its diameter and divided them out, we'd get pi. Now, the circumference formula is based on that. If I want to know the circumference and I know the diameter or the radius, I can find it. Circumference equals diameter, we'll write it the right way around. Circumference equals pi times the diameter. Or you can just write it as circumference equals pi d. Or, since the diameter is exactly the same as 2 times the radius, we can say that the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius, or circumference is 2 pi r. They're exactly the same thing, because 2 times r gives me the diameter. So it's just whichever one you choose. If you've got the diameter, you can use this formula. If you've got the radius, you can use this formula. And I said find the circumference of these circles, and then I forgot to write in the measurements. So I'm just going to put the measurements in now. So in this circle I've got the radius, and in this circle I've got the diameter. So in this circle, when I have to find the circumference, I'll choose the radius formula. Circumference equals 2 times pi times the radius. You write the formula, substitute in the radius value that you know. So I want 2 times pi times the radius, which is 10. And then see how my equal signs line up, and I say circumference at the start and the end. Now I'm going to type it into the calculator. 2 times the pi key times 10. And now it's just given me, it says, well, that's actually just 20 times pi. you might have to push the arrow key and say I wanted a decimal answer. And it's 62.8, and that's meters. We're only measuring distance. It's distance around the outside. We're not measuring the squares that it takes up, so we're not measuring meters squared. Circumference is just distance, just meters. Here we've got another one, and I've got the diameter, so I'm going to use the diameter formula. Circumference equals pi times the diameter. You write the formula, put your equal sign underneath, and substitute in pi times the diameter, which is 15. Now I'm going to finish on this line, so I still say that circumference equals, I do pi times the diameter, push the arrow key, 47.1 centimeters, and we're only in centimeters because it's just the distance around the outside. So sometimes they'll ask us to find the perimeter of a semicircle, and it's pretty easy. Now remember, perimeter is the distance around the outside of a shape, and it includes the diameter. It includes this straight bit. It's also not the whole circle. If it was the whole circle, it would be around here, but it's half a circle. So for a perimeter, the perimeter of a semicircle will be, you're doing pi times the diameter to get the circumference of the whole circle, but I only want the circumference of half the circle, so I'm going to divide by 2 and then add on one lot of the diameter, because that's part of the outside of the circle. If they've given me the radius, it's probably easier to use the diameter, which is the radius times 2, 6 times 2, so the diameter here is 12 centimeters all the way along there. So if I'm finding the perimeter, I'll just do it really quickly of this circle because I'm running out of time, semicircle. That's going to be pi times the diameter of 12, because I'm using the diameter formula because it's easier, divided by 2, because I've only got half the circumference of a circle, plus a whole lot of the diameter, which is 12. So pi times 12 divided by 2. Pi times 12 divided by 2 plus 12. The perimeter of this shape is 30.8, and we're in centimeters, and we're just measuring distance around the outside, so it's centimeters. I won't get to this one, I'm running out of time.